Coming up on News 2, Senator Alicia Hansen's supporters fight to keep her on the ballot. We will have more details on the lawsuit. Plus, a multi-agency task force is underway to organize and align efforts to support and protect the community against the spread of chikungunya and other harmful mosquito-borne illnesses. Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Whether Senator Alicia Hansen will be placed on the ballot for this year's election is still on hold. A federal judge heard arguments Wednesday during a special court session on why Hansen should remain, despite a Supreme Court ruling that determined her ineligible last month. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
Supporters for Senator Alicia Hansen left the courtroom hopeful that she might be placed on November's ballot.
I believe that the court, in its good grace, will follow the law and restore, according to the pardon, my civil rights.
For 2.5 hours, District Court Judge Wilma Lewis heard arguments from the plaintiff's attorneys who said residents are being denied their rights to vote or be represented if Hansen isn't allowed to run. Attorney Rhea Lawrence argued the governor's executive pardon has broad powers that cure the deficiencies with Hansen's nomination papers when her eligibility was challenged because of 2009 tax evasion convictions. 2 weeks ago, the local Supreme Court ruled those convictions were crimes of moral turpitude, making her ineligible.
The direction that the Hansen and her attorneys take in this, it could open up a whole new can of worms in terms of what are we going to do with all the procedures for a candidate to become certified. Their argument is a cure. So we will take all of those procedures and put them on the side. And so what happened, for example, for a candidate that did not get to put their certification in time?
Judge Lewis said she wasn't sure the plaintiff's attorneys had proved their case, and she ordered them to submit specific cases supporting their position by 5 p.m. today. Attorneys representing election supervisor Carolyn Fox and the government also appeared, and the judges said they essentially made the same arguments as the plaintiffs. The defendant's position was that the supervisor needed the court's help to decide if Hansen should go back on the ballot, given the Supreme Court's decision and the governor's pardon, and they said she should have the right to cure her deficiencies.
I think both sides discussed very clearly the constitutional rights that I deserve. Any citizens under the American flag has a right to due process, and that due process is now on hold.
Judge Lewis doesn't have a lot of time to make her decision. Elections has until September 12th, which is Friday, to submit the final ballot's draft in order for them to be ready for printing September 20th. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Meanwhile, Senator Diane Capehart is calling on the Senate President to hold a special committee of the whole hearing to help decide Hansen's fate as a current lawmaker. Capehart wrote a letter to Senate President Sean Michael Malone saying that the VI law makes the Senate the only body who can determine whether Hansen can continue to be a senator in the 30th legislature. She asks that they take action after the Supreme Court's August 28th ruling deeming Hansen ineligible to seek office in the next legislature. She said based on the law, they have no other recourse as lawmakers as after the High Court's ruling. Count of two to keep you updated. Education officials say things were back to normal Wednesday after there were reports of a foul odor near the Central High School's campus the second week into the new school year. As News 2 reported Tuesday, education officials confirmed that students complained of smelling propane. Experts ran tests and determined that the source of the smell came from off campus. They also said it was not from the sewer system problems that closed the school late last school year.
I spoke to Superintendent Gary Malloy early this morning, and he reported that everything was running just fine at Central High School. Of course, we know that, everybody was a little anxious yesterday, and we totally understand those concerns. They're very normal given the circumstances of last year, but everything was running fine. There were no reports of any kind of odor on campus, and I know that the classes went smoothly.
In other school news, Janet Brow, who's the St. Croix District Director of the School Community Relations Office, is inviting parents to come out to back-to-school parent meetings to mark the opening of the 2014-15 school year. Members of the Department of Education's leadership team will make some brief presentations and answer questions. The back-to-school meetings, listed right there, will convene at the district schools according to that following schedule. Alexander Henderson on Tuesday, September 16th at 5:30 p.m. The Claudio Marco School, Wednesday, September 17th at 6 p.m. Juanita Gardine, Monday, September 22nd at 5:30 p.m. The Alfredo Andrews School, Tuesday, September 23rd at 5:30. Lou Muckle and Pearl B. Lawson Schools, that will be held on Wednesday, September 24th at 5:30. Eulalie Rivera and Evelyn Williams School, Thursday, September 25th at 5:30. Ricardo Richards, Friday, September 26th at 5:30. And the Charles Emmanuel School, Monday, September 29th, also at 5:30. And also the St. Croix Central High School, September 30th, also at 5:30. Now, some of the topics will be covered at each meeting include parent involvement initiatives, attendance and the role of the attendance counselors, services available to children with disabilities, what parents should know about the Common Core standards, and bullying. And these are just a few of the topics. Well, here's an update for you. The Commissioner of Health, Doris Plaskett, recently concluded a multi-agency task force conference call to organize and align the department's efforts to support and protect the community against the spread of chikungunya and other harmful mosquito-borne illnesses such as dengue. The meeting allowed leaders of Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, DLCA, the Waste Management Authority, Department of Tourism, Department of Education, Department of Public Works, and government house officials all came together to establish a coordinated effort to mitigate mosquitoes. They have also established, they say, a means to train facility maintenance staff in all government agencies, the private sector, and other interested organizations. Waste Management's Executive Director, May Cornwall, stated Waste Management conducts larviciding at the public trash repositories and will aid the department in its efforts to address other areas of concern. The Department of Tourism's Commissioner, Beverly Nicholson Doty, and the Commissioner of DLCA, Wayne Biggs, say they will continue to support hotels and other business owners with information that will equip them and their patrons with the knowledge of the most effective products and practices. Department of Health officials say they continue to strengthen efforts between Department of Health clinics, providers, and local hospitals. Clinic staff will also be making neighborhood rounds to do some public outreach. We'll turn our attention overseas. President Obama will deliver a primetime address to the nation outlining a strategy for taking the Sunni militant group known as ISIS. Now, the group has overrun parts of Syria and Iraq and is responsible for beheading 2 American journalists. Craig Boswell is at the White House with more details on what we can expect to hear from the president.
President Obama huddled with members of his national security team as he prepares to unveil his plan to take on the Sunni militant group known as ISIS.
He has the opportunity to lay out a clear strategy for destroying perhaps the richest, most well-armed terrorist group on the planet.
CBS News has learned President Obama plans to expand U.S. airstrikes against ISIS in Iraq and eventually Syria, but the Pentagon is still working to develop targets there. The president will also ask Congress to authorize $500 million to support moderate Syrian opposition forces fighting the militants.
We need to train and equip Syrian rebels and other groups in the Middle East that need some help.
Another key component of the president's plan is help from international partners. Secretary of State John Kerry is in the Middle East working on that. In Baghdad, Secretary Kerry pledged U.S. air support as Iraqi forces work to recapture territory lost to ISIS this summer.
The United States and the world will simply not stand by and watch as ISIL's evil spreads.
More U.S. troops are also headed to Iraq, but the president has pledged they will not be used in a combat role.
And keeping our eye on the economy, well, here's a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 54, Nasdaq 34, S&P 7. Coming up on News 2, SNAP recipients now have another avenue for purchasing fresh produce and meat. The USDA is allowing SNAP or food stamp members to join CSAs or community-supported agriculture programs. Plus, a nutrition club gives away some free meals. Details. We'll be right back. Innovative telephone customers on St. Thomas have been experiencing service interruption due to water damage to the company's underground infrastructure. Laverne Reed, who is the Director of Construction and Maintenance, said on the morning of September 8th, Innovative was made aware that Innovative's underground infrastructure experienced water damage, and as a result of this damage to Innovative's facilities, some customers located between the Virgin Islands Department of Labor and Raditz Gata along the southern side of Main Street were presently without phone service. Innovative technical crews were on site repairing the underground infrastructure, and they will continue to work until service is fully restored. And service is expected to be restored in segments, area by area. Innovative apologizes for any inconvenience this may have caused its customers. Delta Airlines will offer even more flights than planned when they return to St. Croix in December. The Department of Tourism announced Tuesday that the weekly service, scheduled to begin December 20th, will run until mid-August. Initially, Delta had planned to end service after the second week in May. Tourism officials say the added flights would help boost the local economy. The Delta service will run Saturdays between St. Croix and Atlanta. In other news, the U.S. Army Reserve from Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands conducted the farewell ceremony for soldiers and family members of the 512th Movement Control Team Detachment stationed at Leonard B. Francis Readiness Center on St. Thomas, and that event was held at the Frenchman's Beach Resort. Now, around 17 soldiers, including the commander, Captain J. Rodriguez Bonanno, are going to the United States to conduct post-mobilization training prior to their deployment to Afghanistan to support the current International Security Assistance Force mission, and then assist in the Resolute Support mission, where they will train, advise, and assist the Afghan security forces. A former VI guardsman will deploy as the unit's top non-commissioned officer, Sergeant First Class Laurel Maloon Francis. Now, SNAP recipients now have another avenue for purchasing fresh produce and meat. The USDA is allowing SNAP or food stamp members to join CSAs or community-supported agriculture farms. Now, those programs allow consumers to buy directly from farmers on a regular basis. Seja Farms VI's new season begins September 13th and runs through the end of November, and they are urging consumers to sign up whether you're a SNAP recipient or not. You can visit the farm, email them, or call 277-6046 for more information on how to sign up for the CSA. And count on two, we'll have some more information as we go along. A local St. Croix Nutrition Club gave out some free meals last Saturday. Members of the Full Force Nutrition Club prepared food and all grown locally and shared plates of food to anyone who wanted it. They used the community service project to teach the public about healthy eating.
We just wanted to come out in the community and show the community what a healthy nutritional meal is about. So a lot of people cannot afford or don't have the means to get a healthy plate of food. So we came out and we had different people around the community come for a neighbor or elderly who did not have a plate of food and bring it to them.
I think it's something great because, as you could see, I just had my plate. Haven't eaten yet, but I guess the way it looks, I know it would be nice. They need to have some music here anyway so that people could just stop and come in and get some free food. You don't get this much around anymore.
And be sure to stick around. Your News2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.